Hey there, viewers, and welcome back to the Self-Made Auto Channel. That's a 2018 Dodge Journey. It's got the big 3.6. Another shop had looked at it for this guy and told him that he needs a new ABS module because when he drives the car, the traction light flashes and then the car won't move. So pretty common stuff. They told him that they don't do programming there, so he's going to have to bring it here, bring it to the Dodge dealer to have this new ABS module installed and then programmed, and then that'll solve all of his issues. I told him, sure, certainly we could do that. Bring her here, we'll stick her in and get her all programmed up. However, I told him also that we should probably fix it for real, and that's not going to take care of his problems, at least based on his symptoms. I believe he just has your classic bad wheel bearings, like I say, super common problem. They did pull his fuses for his ABS so he could drive the car until his new module showed up. So let's put the fuses back in it. Let's plug a scan tool in and let's see if, if they were correct, if it does need a new ABS module or if it simply just has a bad wheel speed sensor or magnet on the back of the bearing. I guess first thing first, we need to find what fuses were removed. He said his, ABS all-wheel drive light, all the lights come on when he drives it. I see there's a big maxi fuse missing there, so let's see if that's the one. See that one there. Oh, I'm like, I don't know what that says. Oh, ABS 40. All right, so that's the ABS 40 amp. Let me see if the fuse is in the cup holder or something. I don't see it just sitting here under the box. Unless they moved it to a different hole, but otherwise we're gonna have to get a 40 amp J-case low pro fuse and stick in there. I don't see one in the car. I got one of these in my toolbox. This is a J-case fuse, but it's the tall one, which won't matter for the time being. I don't know why we have to use the short ones, but that's what it is. So let's, I guess at this point, we'll fire it up. I don't know if that's the only fuse they removed. I didn't see anything in the car. We'll start it up, see if the lights are out, and then put a scan tool on it and drive it and see if we can watch one of these wheel speed signals go wonky. All right, I went ahead and started it up while I was waiting for this to do its deal. I see all the lights were still on, so we got a couple codes there. I'm gonna have to clear out. Let's see, drivetrain, all-wheel drive disabled, implausible data, tire revolution range performance, that's interesting, okay. Oh, look at this, right front speed sensor signal erratic. All right, so we at least know which one we're gonna be looking at. And then this ABS pump motor control circuit below threshold. I assume that's because the fuse has been gone. Okay, so as long as there's no codes in the engine controller, actually, let me just save this report here. I don't need to put any info, just in case I've got to refer back to it. We're going to go back and we're going to do a quick erase, and then we're going to take her for a little toot, and we're going to pay particular attention to that right front wheel speed sensor. If that's the one that's dropping out or what the dealio is. Well, we're waiting for this to clear. You guys know that I know that everybody knows this is going to be a silly video because it's probably just going to be a wheel bearing issue. And by that I mean just the magnet on the back is popping off. But we'll just take a minute to talk about the complexity of cars. Now this is old cars, 2018. It only has, however many modules, like, 12 modules. But oftentimes, these shops that I'm fixing stuff for, they get way off into the weeds because, they see these modules, they see these codes, like, oh gosh, that's got to be something major, and we tend to skip the basics, forget the basics. Like, okay, well, this thing's going along, it has some, false ABS activation. How come? Well, it's getting some bad inputs, garbage in, garbage out. That's what you're going to get every time. So don't think too deep. We just had one yesterday from a different shop than this, 2016 Ram with a big 6.4 Hemi, no crank. They looked at it, deemed it needed a computer, $1,100 PCM plus programming, this, that, and the other. So they sent it here. It's going to set the guy up with an appointment. But just like this guy, well, tell me your story, let me hear it. He's telling me his whole deal. He went in the grocery store, came out, went to start his truck, everything's been fine. Goes to crank it over, it rolls over about one time, he said, then it quit. Then he went and had the battery tested, this and that and the other thing, and now it does nothing. I'm like, well, that doesn't really sound like the main brain. It says, to me, it sounds like your starter sizzled out on you. Needless to say, before he had it towed here, I just called the other shop, talked to the mechanic there, asked him what he did, and then asked him if he would do me one favor. I said, before you have it towed to my shop, will you go out and just see if the starter works for me? I said, you know, you can check it for power, you know, input. We have somebody crank it. I said, if you know anybody there to help you, at least just jumper the solenoid for me and see if the starter motor cranks over. It was about 10 minutes later, he called back and says, you know what, the starter's bad. And that was it. The little braided ground, or the braided strap that comes out of the bottom of the solenoid down into the starter motor had corroded off. So super common in our area. But again, you know, big fancy truck, all the modules, you know, had a bunch of codes in it, stored codes and other modules, no codes in the PCM, you know, but got, you know, derailed, went way off in the weeds, you know, just based off a code diagnosis. So don't let the new stuff fool you. You know, you still got to go back to the basics. We just did the video on that Kia out there, you know, lots of fancy stuff, but at the end of the day, still just a burnt valve, you know, looking at our camera like, yep, that's it. Still internal combustion, you know. But anyhow, this thing's done clearing. Let's grab this and let's go for a toot. All right, here we go. I've got our scan tool over here. This is our sus wheel. This right front. Just use the word sus. We're just gonna toot around town. See if we can get it to act up. Hopefully we can. It's already looks a little glitchy there. Oh yeah, it's already looking stupid. Oh, traction light's flashing right now. Data's locked up. Mint. Pull off the road here. I believe. What do I believe? I believe when there is ABS activation on Chrysler, and you're looking at scan data, it does lock up the scan tool, and I think I've seen that on multiple different scan tools. So we're just gonna go slow. I'm just gonna kind of creep along here at 6 mphs, 5 or 6. We can see, I don't know if you guys can see, probably too much glare, but there's a periodic glitch there in that right front. So let's just go back, visual inspection here. Yeah, you can see it getting erratic. Not erotic, I said erratic. Okay, here we go. This does have a little hitch in her giddy up when you're trying to take off there. Definitely our culprit, isn't it? I can't see anything. Well, that's no good. Here's this guy. Yep, so this style here, you can't see him. It's the old can't see him's, I call it. All right, fancy. So what we need to do is take a big fat guess. We need to look to make sure that the magnet is on the back of the wheel bearing on this one and not on the CV axle. I believe it is on the bearing. And then we need to push the axle back to have a little gander, but it's got classic symptoms. Easy. We're gonna pop the caliper off here. Maybe. 21 mm. There it is. Whoa! Oh man, almost fell over. Get the hooker in here. Leave that like that. Slide that off like that. Let's see. Now we can hopefully see what we're doing. Size is that 32 mm. First try. Whoa, dude. Oh yeah. Let's have a look back there now. Alrighty, let's see. Let me stick this somewhere that we can all see. Oh yeah, little magnet's hanging off there, boys. This is not the magnet, this is just a washer. But I can see the magnet down on the bottom of the bearing is becoming attached. Yes, sir, I feel pretty confident. Let's make the call. Oh yeah, first try, 15. Extension's way too long, fella. Let's get a shorter one here. Glad I grabbed two. These are the Astro Tools Goliath. They're long, black, and thick. They're for the 3/8 drive, but they're hefty. So we get a little more torque transfer. Loving on these things lately. Of course, the Astro 3/8 Ultra Super. Mean little impact. It's the No Mercy Reversey. Always wins. And then Astro Tools swivel socket. Got a little Astro Tools everything going on here. Oh, come on, little guy. There we go. I think you're supposed to pull the knuckle on these. If you look in service data. Come on, you knucklehead. There we go. Brooks, real hammers made by real men, right here in America. Can't really head over here, can I? Trying to take it out in a civilized manner so we can look at the magnet, but it's going to be falling off by the time we get it out. Falled off. Hey-o! Oh, there it is. It didn't fall off all the way, but you can see she got a gap. Let me show you. Actually, if we look close, you can hear the ocean. No, you can't, but you can see where there's a shining spot where it's been hitting the speed sensor. And you can also see magnetic delamination, I like to call it. Very money shot. Boom, there it is. So that's your problem, lady. You got some crusties under your magnet. Super, super common. Doesn't matter the car, the brand, same symptom. different label. So big swing and a miss from that shop. Waiting for our new wheel bearing. You can see actually on the tip of that speed sensor where she's been whittling away at it. I don't think it's going to hurt the speed sensor. Obviously the speed sensor was working, but yeah, she whittled away at her a little bit. And you know, if we need a speed sensor, it's not going to be a big deal, because after we put the bearing in, you know, we could always just, you know, slip that baby out of there and replace it if we have to. It's interesting. Or somebody's already been fiddling with it or something, but at any rate, we'll leave sleeping dogs live for now. I gotta wait for Neighbor to get here with the bearing. Could be a while. There's that. There's the new bearing. That's what the back of that's supposed to look like. That's our magnet. So we'll slip that little guy right back up in there. We'll get our 4 bolts put in here, get her torqued back to factory specs. That's that. We're going to slap the wheel on her, take her for a shake, make sure we did it right. See if we had a lucky guess or not. Here we go. I've got them all up on the same graph this time. I don't suspect we're going to have any problems. The only problem is I'm sure the other wheel's not too far behind, but I hate to tell the customer that without any real definitive proof, so. Everything's looking smooth down there. So there's all of our different colors for our different wheel speeds. All right on top of each other. Everything looks good there coming down. Take her out on the big road. Well, that's it, folks. Easy one, piece of cake. Classic failing tone ring. Big problem in the Northeast, in the Salt Belt area. And like I say, regardless of the brand, they all do it. You'll get unwanted ABS activation, or unwanted stability, or unwanted traction control during a non-skid event, we'll say, or non-slip event. So super common. So kind of, I would say, shame on this shop for misdiagnosing that, because this has been an issue for, let's see, it's 25, so 30 plus years here in the Salt Belt. We see it all the time, so it's nothing new. Why they made the call on the ABS module is beyond me. Perhaps it was just maybe ignorance, but maybe being lazy. I don't know, because their shop wasn't even going to benefit from it, because they don't even have the ability to do that work. So I don't know. Whatever, it's neither here nor there. But if it was an honest mistake because it's complex, or they went to get into it and it's like, oh, secure gateway, we can't even talk to the ABS module, could have been something like that. I'm just speculating at this point, but not all problems are big problems. Not all problems are, we got to look at every individual packet and have a CAN decoder to see if the messages, from this module are corrupt, things like that, where it's just, very in depth, very, just kind of off the wall, bizarre things. I never see that stuff. And maybe it's just the little part of the world I live in, but rarely do I have anything that's a complex problem. The majority of stuff I fix, 99 out of 100 are just simple issues, failed component, broken wire, just easy diagnosis stuff, nothing super complex. Might see something like that once every 2 or 3 years. I'll get something like that in, and I don't really know what else to say. Just don't make a mountain out of a molehill, I guess, if you will. Not everything's hard. Use some old school common sense. That's what we'll say. We'll leave it at that. And that's it. Don't leave me hanging in that comment section. I'm getting tired, dude. It's only noon and it's already freaking blazing hot out. Insta, Facebook, you know where to find us. And if I can do it, you can do it. Thanks for watching.